Welcome to today's Parks Alliance Read Along. Our special guest today is Corrie O'Neil with Playworks Pennsylvania. We're excited to welcome back to the Parks Alliance Read Along studio. If you're just joining us right now, this would be a great chance to share the broadcast. You can either click that share button, or you can also, if you're in Facebook, you can @mention, which is type that @ character, like in Twitter and Instagram, and then start typing the name of a friend or family member, and then they will hear about the broadcast and be able to come on and also to join us. It also would be a great time to let us know where you're watching. We'll ask you that again too, as we always do. So feel free to drop that in the comments, and thank you very, very much for joining us. And our host, Lula, will be on in just a moment.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Just waiting for a few more people to join us. If you could just let us know where you are watching from in the comment section, that would be great. Okay, so welcome. Today is Wednesday. We decided to take Monday and Tuesday off because, in being fully transparent, I was extremely overwhelmed with everything that's going on in our world, especially the past 2 weeks or so. And this weekend, I'm sure you all know what's been happening. So we decided to just take Monday and Tuesday off to just kind of process our own feelings and emotions, and also discuss from an organization perspective, how do we move forward in being able to contribute to the conversation that's currently happening, which is a very healthy conversation, and it's a lot of movement happening. So yes, we ended up taking Monday and Tuesday off. So we're so happy to be back with you guys today, Wednesday, and we have our return reader from, I think, a week ago. It feels like a long time ago. I think it was a week ago, Corrie O'Neil. So we're super excited to have her. But if you guys can allow me to be a little bit more transparent about just what's been happening and what I have personally been feeling, and hopefully it's relatable. I'm going to do my best to articulate it in a way that it makes sense. It might not make sense right now, so please feel free to chime in. As a Black woman, I have felt, especially the past couple of weeks, just super overwhelmed. I slept maybe like 4 hours a day, if that. My body was extremely tired, but obviously my mind, just so much happening. It was just impossible to focus on work, sleep, schoolwork, and just life in general, and also feeling just helpless in a lot of different ways. Watching what's been happening in the news just has been extremely overwhelming. And at one point, especially this weekend, I just felt helpless and hopeless in a lot of ways. I'm usually the type of person that will think of an opportunity to step up and make a difference whenever I see there's an issue happening. But for some reason, this weekend was just a different emotion that I can't explain. Monday came, again, woke up Monday just feeling heavy-hearted, barely slept. And my boss, Alex Doty, texted me early in the morning just saying, "How are you?" Usually when someone asks me, "How are you?" even if everything is wrong, I'm usually like, "Oh, everything's good. Weekend was fine." But this time I just couldn't lie because I wasn't fine. So I appreciated him that he was able to reach out to me just to see how I was as a person, not as just an employee, but just as a person. So him and I just ended up having a very lengthy conversation. He created an environment where I felt safe enough to just vent, which I really, really appreciated. And we talked about just what's happening, how I was feeling, and we got really reflective, which was really healthy for me. And in that conversation, a few things came out, which was, personally, what can I do? Me, just speaking as Lula, what can I do to contribute to change and what that looks like? And then also professionally, as an organization, what could we do? And so we had an opportunity to discuss different just thought process, brainstorm for a good 45 minutes. And that's when I got my hope back, if that makes sense. And then being able to see so many other people protesting, not just within the United States, but all over the world. Just yesterday, I saw like Germany and London, full of people in Japan. It gave me a lot of hope, and it energized me back to knowing that a lot more people care, and it's possible to make the changes that I know that can happen. So I'm super excited to be energized again. I'm super excited to just get out of the funk that I was in. I'm super excited to have and grateful and blessed to have colleagues that I have, that we were able to have a lengthy conversation again during our staff meeting, just to talk about how do we move forward as an organization. And I hope everyone is experiencing the hope that I have recently experienced. If you're not, that is perfectly fine, because I went through so many different emotions to get to the stage that I am today. And it might change tomorrow, who knows? But I'm super excited because with this chaos that is happening in the long history of systemic just oppression that's been happening to Black people, I think our voice is being heard in a different way this time around, because I'm seeing people speaking up in a way that I have never seen before, which makes me so happy to know that people care. In anything in life, like when we want change, we have to like take small bites to get to the bigger picture. So if you're feeling empowered and energized to make the change that's necessary and not know where to go, look in within yourself, look in within your own community. See how you can show up to the city council members, the school board meetings, city council meetings, to how to hold your elected officials accountable. So to make sure that our community is taken care of. Start small and build to something bigger, whatever that looks like for you. But so I just wanted to share that message with everyone and acknowledge my own feelings, because I have a bad habit of just suppressing how I feel and putting a professional face a lot of times and just keeping it moving. But, you know, sometimes it's okay not to be okay. And that's something I had to learn, and something that I had to be honest with myself and share that with my colleagues. And I appreciate Steve, Sarah, Alex, Jack for being so supportive and just having a workplace that supports this type of conversation. So I know that got super heavy, but we're excited to come back again for our read along. And we have Corrie. She was here a week ago and she did such an amazing job, and she was excited to come back and read again. So of course we invited her back. So I'm gonna bring her on and I'll ask her how she's doing. Hello.
Hi, Lula.
How are you?
I'm good. I want to just thank you for sharing that with everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening. How are you doing?
I think that I am feeling more just committed than I've ever been to this work, and to figuring out my role as a white woman in being a committed ally and staying firm in just the fight that my Black friends, my Black neighbors, that they are going through right now, and just trying to do my best. And I sort of similar to your advice, I actually reached out to my city council members yesterday. So I was happy to do that, and just sort of trying to do what I can to be a meaningful and impactful ally.
Oh, I appreciate you doing that. And that's so, and you know, the more I thought about it, I think a lot of times when we see, or when we think about just wanting to make an impact, we forget about the small things that we can do within our community. And it's huge to show up to city council meetings, and it's huge to show up to your school board meetings to make sure you know what's happening for your community, for our kids. It's huge to show up to vote. Hopefully people showed up to vote yesterday.
Yeah. I did my mail-in ballot a few weeks ago.
Great. So just those little things that sometimes we forget, because that's something we do on a normal basis. So you don't really look at it as change. Being able to advocate for your Black coworkers, friends, in a way that maybe they can't speak up for themselves in a workplace or outside. So there are so many different ways that we can make change, and I feel hopeful. I really do. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I don't think that I could add anything that was more meaningful or eloquent than what you said, other than I'm here in any way that I can help.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. So tell us about work. So what's been happening? I know, obviously, with everything that's going on. Last time you were here, you told us about the online resource that the play. I think it was like 12, 2, and 4 o'clock, right? So tell us more about.
So Playworks we are a national nonprofit that works for recess and play and believing that we can bring out the best in every kid through play. And once everything shut down because of the pandemic, we took everything online and we're doing recesses called Play at Home on our Facebook page at 12, 2, and 4 Eastern. With everything going on this week, we actually did decide to not go live this week with those videos. We are still sharing one resource every day for how students can play at home, because it is such a therapeutic and important thing that children and adults can do. But we are planning at this time to return next week with those live videos, but that is pending just how internally the members of our staff who deliver this content, how they are feeling and whether it's appropriate at the time.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think that's understandable. Sometimes it's a lot happening, and people. I know I haven't been focused, so I can only imagine. Especially with parents and their kids being able to manage school, work, what's happening in the world, and trying to clock in to make sure, you're doing what you're supposed to do. So that's very considerate on your part as well. So that we can put, we put the website in the comment section. Thank you, Steve. Steve is in the background. He's behind the scene. So if you want to learn more about Playworks, please visit the website. It is www.playworks.org. Pennsylvania is a national organization, so they're all over the place. So if you go to their website, you will find out, if you're not in PA, you'll find out which other states they are located as well. So what book are you reading today?
So I want to just say that I did have a goal of within myself amplifying Black voices. Unfortunately, with library shutdown and things like that, I did not have any of the books that I have read about this week that have been shared on social media. So I went again to my friends who are children and asked them what books they would like me to read that talked about themes like friendship and respect and things like that. And the book that I have borrowed is called Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson. And I want to thank my friend Colin for recommending this book, and I want to thank my friend Sylvie and Senna for providing me the book. So it was a group effort.
I love it. I just love you shared this behind the scene. I love how you're getting recommendations about what books to read, and that people.
I don't know the good children's books. I gotta go right to the source.
I'm with you. I'm the same way. Okay, so I'm gonna take myself off the screen, and then I'll see you at the end.
Thank you. Once again, I want to thank Colin, Sylvie, and Senna for introducing me to this awesome book about friendship. Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson. The witch had a cat and a hat that was black, and long ginger hair and a braid down her back. How the cat purred and how the witch grinned, and they sat on their broomstick and flew through the wind. But how the witch wailed and how the cat spat, when the wind blew so wildly it blew off the hat. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the hat, but no hat could be found. Then out of the bushes on thundering paws, there bounded a dog with a hat in his jaws. He dropped it politely, then eagerly said, as the witch pulled the hat firmly down on her head, I'm a dog as keen as can be. Is there room on the broom for a dog like me? Yes, cried the witch, and the dog clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the fields and the forest they flew. The dog wagged his tail, and the stormy wind blew. The witch laughed out loud and held on to her hat, but away blew the bow from her braid, just like that. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the bow, but no bow could be found. Then out from a tree with an ear-splitting shriek, there flapped a green bird with a bow in her beak. She dropped it politely and bent her head low. Then said, as the witch tied her hair in the bow, I am a bird, as green as can be. Is there room on the broom for a bird like me? Yes, cried the witch, so the bird fluttered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the reeds and the rivers they flew. The bird shrieked with glee, and the stormy wind blew. They shot through the sky to the back of beyond. The witch clutched her bow, but let go of her wand. Down, cried the witch, and they flew to the ground. They searched for the wand, but no wand could be found. Then all of a sudden, from out of the pond, leaped a dripping wet frog with a dripping wet wand. He dropped it politely, then said with a croak, as the witch dried the wand on a fold of her cloak, I am a frog, as clean as can be. Is there room on the broom for a frog like me? Yes, said the witch, so the frog bounded on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. Over the moors and the mountains they flew. The frog jumped for joy, and there they all are on the broomstick. The broom snapped in two. Down the cat and the dog and the frog. Down they went tumbling into a bog. The witch's half broomstick flew into a crowd, and the witch heard a roar that was scary and loud. I am a dragon, as mean as can be, and which with French fries tastes delicious to me. No, cried the witch, flying higher and higher. The dragon flew after her, breathing out fire. Help, cried the witch, flying down to the ground. She looked all around, but no help could be found. The dragon drew near, with a glint in his eyes, and said, just this once, I'll have the witch without fries. But just as he planned to begin on his feast, from out of the ditch rode a horrible beast. It was tall, dark, and sticky, and feathered and furred. It had 4 frightful heads and had wings like a bird. And its terrible voice, when it started to speak, was a yowl and a growl and a croak and a shriek. It dripped and it squelched as it strode from the ditch and said to the dragon, Buzz off! That's my witch! There's the horrible monster. The dragon drew back, and he started to shake. I'm sorry, he sputtered. I made a mistake. It's nice to have met you, but now I must fly. And he spread out his wings and was off through the sky. Then down flew the bird, and down jumped the frog. Down climbed the cat, and phew, said the dog. And thank you, oh thank you, the grateful witch cried. Without you, I'd be on that dragon's inside. So as you can see, that dragon was all of the animals she helped. The monster was all the animals she helped. Then she filled up her cauldron and said with a grin, Find something, everyone, throw something in. So the frog found a lily, the cat found a cone, the bird found a twig, and the dog found a bone. They threw them all in, and the witch stirred them well. And while she was stirring, she muttered a spell. Iggity, ziggity, zaggity, zoom. And then out rose a truly magnificent broom, with seats for the witch and the cat and the dog, a nest for the bird, and a pool for the frog. Yes, cried the witch, and they all clambered on. The witch tapped the broomstick, and whoosh, they were gone. And there is everyone on the broomstick. The end.
That was a plot twist.
They worked together.
I know. That was pretty cool. I was like, where is this going? Oh, Alex Stody, our executive director. He commented saying, bring a broom, Philadelphia, ... to a read along. That's funny.
I like it.
That's funny. I could see him laughing writing that. You can purchase the book on this long website. Or is this our YouTube
Random
page?
House.
Oh, okay. This is terrible. I was like, is this our YouTube link? It's not. This is where you can purchase the book. It's in our comment section. You can also, if you go to our comment section, you will find Playworks website as well to learn more about what Corrie does and all the resources that they have. So you said next week sometimes you will be back to like normal streaming with your work.
As of right now, that's the plan. Yes.
Okay.
So 12, 2, and 4 on our Facebook page.
Okay. So
it's Playworks Recess.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So if you go to playworks.org, I went through it like 2 weeks ago. They have a lot of amazing resources for kids. So if you have kids or you have youth who are staying with you, please check it out. They have a lot of great resources that you can utilize while we're still in quarantine. So any comments or closing? Is there anything that we need to know that you are working on?
Once again, I just thank you for having me and for sharing your story and for allowing me to read again. And just know that personally and professionally, we are committed to the movement, and we're trying to figure out sort of where we fit in that right now. So I welcome any suggestions in the comment box. I'll read those myself, including books that would amplify Black voices.
Yes. So one of the things, I was having a conversation just quickly with a friend of mine yesterday, and just about what could people do. That's just like, everyone is saying like, what can I do? What can I do from different perspective? I think from personal perspective, I kind of mentioned it earlier. There's small things, obligations that I think as human beings that we have for our community that's showing up to those meetings that we talked about, taking time to read and learn more about the movement and what that looks like, and also how you can contribute or amplify the voices that are already existing. I think as an organization, always, as an organization, we're always thinking about how can we serve people in a way that can create impact. And a lot of times it's inviting those people to the table that you are serving so their voice can be heard. And you guys do an amazing job doing that. And I think that's just, that's one way in making change, to continue to remember that. I know I have been obviously working nonprofit for so many years. Sometimes you get buried in grants and fulfilling numbers. So sometimes it's just, you kind of forget that like you're doing great work, but like, the people also have to be invited to that table to let you know that what they would like to see and hear because it benefits them. So I think as an organization, that applies to all of us. And just keeping that in mind as we're moving along to make sure the people that we are serving are part of the bigger conversation that we are making before creating any programs or platforms, whatever that looks like. So that's one way. That's at least my share. I thought that was a great conversation that I had with my friend yesterday.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back.
Yes, of course.
You are welcome to come back again.
I would love to. And once again, I want to shout out my friends, Colin, Sylvie, and Senna, who are letting me sort of make this happen.
Yes, thank you for the book recommendations 2 times already. So we appreciate you guys. We'll be back. Yes, we'll be back tomorrow. And thank you again for being patient. And thank you for letting me just rant for a little bit in the beginning of our session. So see you guys, everyone. Oh, if you just joined, you could rewatch this. This is recorded, so no worries. I forgot to say that. You can rewatch it all over again if you missed it. So we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Lula.
Bye.